Hello, Mr. Eugene Stead. My name is Carlos Arellano. I'm the physician assistant student, and I'll be taking care of you today. Before we begin, I think they told me that you're coming because of laceration to the dorsum of your right hand. Is that correct? Okay. Before I'll tell you my recommendation what to do today. Could you verify your name for me and the date of birth? Okay, awesome. Do you have any history to medications? What about do you have any history of allergies to medications? Do you have any history of anesthetics? Okay, when was your last tetanus shot given? All right. So, uh, the way I would recommend to approach this laceration today is to do a continuous suturing technique. And like any procedure, there's risk and complications, and those are scarring, bleeding, and also an infection as well. Bleeding, infection, and scarring. Um, the benefits of this procedure is that by putting the edges right together, that's gonna promote the healing, and also that's gonna reduce the scarring, the infection, and the bleeding risk. Now, there are other alternatives that you can definitely consider, and those are skin glue and also Steri-Strips. And now, I wouldn't recommend those procedures because of the laceration that you're presenting with today. It's a very highly movable area, and I don't just think it's gonna heal us properly as with it will heal with the suture. Now, there's another option, of course, that if let's say you don't want to get anything done today, that's perfectly fine. I can go ahead and clean it up and close it really well for you. Just cover it up, sorry, and but I just need to let you know in advance that that's going to increase way high your chances of the infections, the bleeding, and the scar formation that we were discussing. Now, would you allow me to proceed with the suturing today? All right, awesome. So I'm just gonna give you this paper. It's just a consent. Basically, you're just giving me permission to do the procedure based on what we discussed. All right. Okay, so now we're gonna begin. Let me just gather my supplies before we begin this procedure. All right. So let me just wash my hands, and I'm gonna put on my non-sterile gloves as well. And I'm gonna start by cleansing the wound. Okay, and I'm gonna prepare the anesthetic. We're gonna numb the area so it's not that uncomfortable for you. Okay. Okay, and I'm gonna switch my needle before I inject, and I'm gonna start anesthetizing the area. Okay, we're gonna give it like around 5 minutes to make sure it's numb properly, and let me check if it's already numb. Do you feel this? Okay, awesome. Now I'm gonna irrigate the wound just to make sure there is no foreign bodies before we begin closuring the wound, all right? All right, I don't see any foreign bodies at all. So now I'm gonna start preparing my suture, all right? So I'm gonna open up my suture kit, and I'm gonna open up my suture, and I'm gonna drop it on the kit. All right, now I'm gonna change my non-sterile gloves, and I'm gonna put my sterile gloves on, and I'm gonna start by draping your wound. Let me just gather my material. Okay. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, let me just go ahead and irrigate this, the wound with saline. Okay, let me just dry it up really well. Okay, and now I'm gonna go ahead and remove my supplies into the sharps container, and also I'm gonna remove the drape, and I'll dress the wound, and I'll remove my gloves, and I'm gonna go ahead and wash my hands. So now the post-procedure instructions to take care of this wound at home is that I'm gonna ask you to keep it covered for at least 24 hours, and then go ahead and gently wash it. And then after that, you just dry it up and cover it. And my recommendation is also to elevate the wound so it can reduce the swelling and also the pain. And also do not pick at the wound. And we're gonna make also we're gonna ask you to come back in 10 to 14 days so we can reevaluate the suture, and also more than likely we're gonna remove it. Okay, okay, Mr. Eugene Stead, is that okay? Any other questions? All right, thank you. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and proceed with the four knots of the interrupted suture. Okay, and that concludes our video.